Hey everybody, welcome to this week's Uncommon Ground podcast with myself, Jonathan Silva, and Louie Be Free. Today we are interviewing Moose's mom, Holly. We are going to talk about the struggles and the sacrifices they have made to keep Moose alive, fighting and living a great life.
Good morning, good afternoon to you.
Yes.
And we've got Moose and Bun Mom, Holly.
Yeah.
And
who are you? Leonidas.
Nice to meet you guys.
Yeah,
Hi.
nice to meet you all. And I've just got to ask, Holly, you're in Ohio.
Yes. Yeah.
North, south, east, west. You don't have to say
Central
the city.
Ohio.
Central. Cool. Okay.
By Columbus.
Okay.
Yeah.
So will you tell us what's going on with Moose? Give us the history of.
With Moose so Moose is originally my 17-year-old son's bunny. He's a Holland Lop. He when I went in there to go clip his nails about 2 months ago and brush him out, I picked him up. I could feel underneath his chin, he had like a hard matting on there. And he also felt very light, and his hair was kind of like falling out. It looked like it was old hair just falling out, which didn't look like him. And he also wasn't at the cage door like he usually is, greeting us. So we got him out, me and my husband, to do his nails. And when we did, we felt the mat, and my husband got a warm washcloth to put it on there to try to loosen it up. But when he did, it kind of loosened up and pulled away, and you could see a bunch of infection underneath of it. So immediately I told him to go ahead and stop, and we called the nearest vet that would get an exotic in around us, and there's very few. So we got him into one, and he was so sick that they had to do the surgery while he was awake, and they cut off a whole section underneath his chin, and it was filled with infection. And then we were left to flush it every single day and clean it and debride it. And then had his 2-week follow-up appointment. Before that, I could feel like 2 little hard knots underneath that area, but it felt almost like thyroid, like an inflamed thyroid. So when we went back, she said, no, they were encapsulated in pus infection nodules. So she did another surgery the next day and took all that out and stitched them up. And then about 3 days after that, all of his infection line or a suture line, it started seeping really bad with an infection. So that's when we called MedVet Hilliard, and MedVet Hilliard got him in, and they did another surgery on him and took out all of that. But it was so infected that he had to keep coming back in every week to get it done. So the next one was they had to take out all the internal sutures from the original surgery and get all the infection. And then every week for 2 months, he's had surgery with his unpacking. Every time they packed it and pulled it out to repack it, it's been more infection. So this last go around before today, the last surgery, so 2 weeks ago, the doctor had called me, Dr. Joe, during the surgery, and he's like, there's more infection. What do you want me to do? And I said, well, since there's more infection, this is the 7th surgery at that point. I said, I don't know how much more he can take doing this. And at this point, we're already over 5,500 deep. And I said, but I don't want to give up on him because he's obviously fighting and he wants to get better. So he said, all right, well, we can do a marsupialization. So they took out half of this and left it open, and they stitched up the other half. So he said, this is their last shot. I'd be able to do anything for him. And he's got a 50-50 chance of making it, even with this. And I said, well, we have to do whatever we can to, keep trying to make him better. So he did the marsupialization on him, and every day we have to clean it 3 times a day, debride it 3 times a day, put the Manuka honey on there. And Dr. O, the original vet at MedVet Hilliard, said that we could do penicillin G shots, but there was none around us to be had. So I started calling everywhere. Yeah, she said if we had that to begin with, she said, because it's all back ordered, but she said if we had that to begin with, that he probably wouldn't be in the situation he's in now, and this would have never have happened. That's what she said today. So after that last surgery, I called everywhere around looking for Penji. I had friends post about it, asking for them. I called anybody with a farm looking for it. I asked 4-H kids, like a bunny drug dealer, like, if you got it, I'll buy it. I'm like, I need it now. So I finally found some, and I got 2 large bottles of it. And I give him daily injections of the Penji on top of all that. So he went back in today, his 2-week checkup, and she said all the infection is gone. They took out his stitches. You have to put a needle in there just to make sure that there's no infection. So it's all gone. So
that's fantastic.
Yay, finally.
That is so awesome. Hi,
That is
Moose.
Moosey, little
It's
moose.
been a
Oh,
struggle.
Well, not so
Big
little
old
moose.
baby.
Yes, he's a big moose. He
He's
gets
a big
hand
moose.
fed and he gets his daily veggies 3 times a day. He's
Good for
very
you.
spoiled.
Uh,
You are very dedicated, bun mom. Very
Thanks.
dedicated. I love that. Well, I've
insane.
been through things like that with our buns and injections and different things throughout the day, and giving sub-Q fluids. It's you've got to be dedicated. You've really got to love the bun to do that.
Yeah, we've gave up our entire summer just to make sure we're staying at home with them. Like he hasn't been able to do anything yet this summer because we have to be here for him, taking care of him, and I don't trust anybody just to take care of him. I get it. Yeah, when you're debriding it and you got to check the stitches and giving the shots and you giving the oral meds and making sure his cage is completely cleaned out at least once a day. He's got fresh food and hay 3 times a day, fresh veggies 3 times a day. It's work. And I don't want to trust him with it.
It's love. It's love.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, it's most definitely love.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's yeah. And I understand that. I know Jonathan understands that. You just can't, that's a family member. You're just not, especially with some of the issues, you're not going to just let somebody, even somebody that you care about, even somebody you know is a really good human, you got to do it. If you're not doing it, if you do it, it's being done correctly.
My 17-year-old son tried to give him his medication after I told him how to do it with the instructions, and he still couldn't get it right. I'm like, no, I'll do it. I'll do it. I'll do it. I'll take care of it. I have to make sure it's done right, So by trade, I'm a nurse. So I'm used to doing
yay.
An infection. So I was like, I'll just take care of it. During this last surgery, I'm like, I can debride it. I can make sure it's flush. I can do all of that stuff. And I just wanted to make sure, because I was so worried about him going through another surgery. I've heard so many horror stories about animals going in for just getting fixed and bad things happen. Like, how many can you take after 7? Yeah. So I knew we were taking
that's a lot. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a lot. That's, as bun people, rabbit people know, and for everything, for everyone, I guess. You're a nurse, when you're putting them under, there's a risk. There's always a risk, and I don't know if it's higher for rabbits, but I know it's very high for rabbits.
That's what I was scared of with him. I said every time we go near, it's not just the financial of it; it's how many times can he do this?
Yeah,
the first 3 days after he has surgery, I had to sleep down there with him to make sure he's okay, because after surgery, his temperature would fluctuate really high, then go really low. So he was always going up and down. And I was really worried about him. So I would hand feed him critical care, water, his food. I had to do all of this stuff for him for the first few days because he wouldn't do it. So now he's doing pretty good with it. He usually wears a collar, but for today's interview, we have it off so he can look his best.
Poor baby.
And we've got to talk about Fund My Bun, but if you don't mind, Holly, the expenses, what is so
right now
at this point?
5.7 thousand is where we're at right now.
Wow.
Yeah.
You're really dedicated,
Yeah. We sold our camp. That's how it first started. During his first surgery, we had a camper and we ended up immediately selling that to pay for his surgery because we didn't have it. I mean, it was all of this has been unexpected because the doctor really said, we just think it's going to be one unpacking between $500 and $700. And then it turned into 4 unpackings. And it's always over the $700 mark. It's usually between $800 and $1,200.
We all know that. Rabbit people all know that.
Yeah, it's just gone up and up and up. But the GoFundMe for him, Dr. Joe recommended, and that was a lifesaver because it's hard to even say, but is next to last surgery, I had told him, I said, we can't do this anymore. I said, we just don't have it. He was 16 at the time. My 17-year-old son now works 16 hours a day, 7 days a week. He's got 2 jobs just to pay for him. Because we had the camper, we sold that. Then we had a car, one of my son's cars, we sold that. We got care credit for $3,000. We maxed out that within a couple of visits and they wouldn't increase it. And I maxed out all the cash they had. So we maxed out everything. And I told him, I said, I just don't have it. I don't have it. So unfortunately, 2 procedures ago, I said, I just can't do this anymore. I said, I just don't have it. I said, I don't want to do this, but I don't know what else to do. And that's when Dr. Joe said, let me find out and see what other things I can come up with. And he recommended you guys, because I guess one of his bunnies had went through you guys. So I immediately got a hold of you guys, and Julia got a hold of me, and we just started talking, and she immediately started Moose's page for him. And that is going to help out tremendously because he's got his first care credit bill coming up. I think it's the 11th, and that's minimum payment $500 a month to get it paid off for just that one, not including all the other credit card bills and everything else he's got. So the GoFundMe page for him that you guys set up is going to be a lifesaver, literally, for him.
Yeah.
Because we just didn't know what we were going to do. And after she said, well, we raised like $1,200 something. And I'm like, all right, then we can do the next procedure. We have it so we can do the next procedure.
Yes.
So that's where it really came in for us.
Hence the name Rabbit Savior and Fund My Bun. Jonathan, tell us a little bit about Fund My Bun.
Well, Fund My Bun is basically designed for the rabbit only, because there's GoFundMe, there's other FundMe programs, but we built a platform to house the vet bill assistance, the GoFundMe type deal, which is Fund My Bun, things like that. So it helps in situations like this. So we're glad we can be an assistance. Like I said, we're still brand new, but the word is spreading about us so quickly. Hopefully we can get to that level to where we can actually help even more.
That's fantastic. And you can go to Rabbit Savior. Go ahead.
We didn't know anything about it. No, we didn't know anything about any rabbit groups that would help out. We didn't know anything about fundraising. And Dr. Joe found you guys. And now I've told a couple other people about you because they were having rabbit issues in my rabbit groups. And I'm like, you got to check them out. I'm like, they're the ones helping us. So
that's fantastic. And again, fantastic program. And I've got a direct link up to your page and story. Your son, when we made the video, what can you tell us about that? It's melts everybody's heart.
Yeah,
sorry.
It's very difficult for him because for the longest time I had my son, I mean, he just absolutely adores Moose and loves Moose. Moose is like his baby. We have that MC jacket. So we got the motorcycle jacket made with Moose on there with his giant picture of Moose, and my son would wear it out. We were going to get a conversion van for my son's first vehicle with a picture of Moose on it. We were going to get Moose merchandise. I mean, Moose is his baby. I mean, just loves Moose to death. So I'm his grand Moose, but
I love it.
Jonathan had a very hard time, as you said, I don't know if you guys can see in that video. He did do it a couple of times because he was tearing up and crying in it because no one likes to see Moose sick. It's very painful to see him this way because he's always a happy bunny, a loving bunny. He comes and jumps on you. He does that little bunny shake where he jumps in the air and falls over on his side, and to see him like this, it's heartbreaking.
We all know that too.
Yes, it's the cutest thing ever. And to see him like this, it's heartbreaking, and then he feels the stress of, because he's trying to pay all this money back for Moose. He's feeling the stress of 16 years old, just turned 17, or working 16-hour days.
He raised a good man. Raised a good man. He's a man in my eyes. At 16 years old, he's a man.
Jonathan, I'm thinking the same thing. What a wonderful young man you raised. Yeah. And he's got so much compassion, so much he feels. Again, it's painful to watch. Not painful. It's to see his pain. Yet that's a beautiful thing. And especially for a male to show. Yes. He's got, you raised an amazing man. Go ahead.
No, you're right. He absolutely loves his bunny. He takes his bunny around with him. He's already talked about his cars because he loves cars, especially classics. He's got a 62 Comet that he's rebuilt. And he's talking about building it. What he has talked about building a seat in there for Moose, the little Moose glasses, like goggles on. Every car, like this bunny goes everywhere with him. He actually picked up his YouTube, don't tell anybody. He picked up his very first girlfriend by telling him he had a bunny named Moose. Yeah, like Moose is his baby. So
that's beautiful.
He's very much loved. And for him to make that video, he's heartbroken. No one wants to see him like this because every time we go in, the vet keeps telling him he's not going to make it. He's not going to make it. You got to talk about you doing humane euthanization and he's a 50-50 chance. And how much do you really want to spend on a bunny? Well, to me, he's not just a bunny.
Family.
It's a family member. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're family.
So I don't like when people just tell us, well, look at putting him down. Well, no, I'm not going to look at just putting him down. He's fighting, so I can't give up on him.
Exactly.
And we've all heard people say that. And
yes.
I've responded when we've had some huge medical bills for a rabbit, and talking with someone, they say the same thing. You just put them down. And again, people don't like to hear this, but I say, well, if you had a family member that needed a surgery, would you just say, euthanize them? Would you just
I'm so glad that you say that, because people think I'm crazy when I say that. I'm like, you wait, if your kid's sick, you don't just say go put them down. If I really love my animal, I'm going to do what I can to protect him.
Trust me.
Yeah, okay, thank you. Because I mean, I've had some people like, why? It's just a bunny. No, it's not just a bunny. His name is Moose, and he's very much loved. He's a family member. I'm not doing that to him. My 7-year-old loves him. He has Asperger's, and he's very much attached to animals.
That's wonderful. That's beautiful. That's beautiful.
Yeah, and he's an emotional support animal for us. I mean, I hold him like a baby. He loves on him, and he's more than just an animal. So there was no option to me of wanting to put him down. It's just more the financial aspect of, can I do this to do it?
Correct.
But yeah, we always found a way.
And Holly, I think that, again, that's beautiful about you and your family doing that and going into debt, selling things, son working 2 jobs, etc., to take care of Moose. And that's, again, a beautiful, Jonathan, I understand, rabbit people understand,
wholeheartedly, yes.
Animal lovers understand. And that's what's important. That's what's important. So in the funding and Fund My Bun, Jonathan, what else can you tell us?
Well, basically what we do is there's an application you fill out, and then we go ahead and create your page, your link, and set it up. And then you can go ahead and transfer that to your social media. We promote it as well. And then toward the end of the campaign, Rabbit Savior actually donates from us to you as well. So you'll get another donation from us personally. And then we try to promote your campaign as much as we can, just to get as much funding as possible. And then the reason why we're doing this today is because I like to show the rabbit community that, yes, we're doing a Fund My Bun campaign. Like I said, we're still new, but I want to show what's behind the campaign, what is the pain. And it's just a bunny, because I started Rabbit Savior. And one of the things that I want to do is take that narrative, it's just a bunny, and throw it away and take it. Jacques Cousteau can't get it in the ocean. So if people keep saying that, those are the people we don't want in our circle, in our community, in our industry. They're out, gone, bye. So that was my whole thing with that. But, with your story, with you guys and your family, I commend you guys. You guys have my heart, and whatever I can do for you guys, I'll do whatever I can.
And Jonathan, you've done so much in such a brief period of time, and moving forward at laser speed, I must say.
We're trying.
You are doing. I've got to ask you, Holly, what advice for other bunny parents out there? Because we know rabbits, being prey animals, will hide if they're ill the best that they can. That's one of the signs. Go ahead.
No, that's what he did. You're right. That's what he did. Moose always would come up to you whenever you walked into the room in his cage. He would come up to the door and greet you. Well, he wasn't that day. When I went to go clip his nails, he didn't come up to the door. And then when I opened the door, he hid in the back, which is all signs that there's something not quite right.
Right. Yeah.
And then when I picked him up, I could feel he was lighter. His hair was looked like it was shedding out more than normal. And I felt that mat. So it's pay attention to what your bunny's signs are. If he's hiding, like my cats will do that too. If they're sick, they hide. You've got to pay attention to them, daily attention. You got to give them the love infection. And if they don't come up to you and something's different, then you need to be seen. And that's just following your instincts. Your bunny.
Quickly.
Yeah. And that's what I did. There was no hesitation. As soon as I saw that mat, and I said, oh, wait, that's not something I can just clip off. It looked like there was infection. Leave it. Immediately call an exotics vet, and get him in to be seen. That's what we did. So
Holly, I've just got to say again, your son sitting next to you, for listeners, is so gentle and beautiful with Moose. And you're raising, I would say, wonderful kids, real men. That's a real man. And that's beautiful how you are raising your kids.
I have 2 older daughters too. And one of my older daughters, she rescues animals, and because where she lives at, there's by a gas station, there's a kind of a little shack building people just drop off their animals into. There's nobody there to watch them. There's no nothing. It's just like a metal container. So they leave all their cats and dogs, not goats, but they had geese in there, ducks. She rescues them all, takes them back to her house, and she gets them all better. And
that's wonderful, though. That's
rehome them that way, because she doesn't have a lot of money by any means, but she just takes care of them and loves them, and that's what she does. So it's a family
beautiful
thing.
Yeah, I hear that. Your family, you've raised wonderful children, compassionate children.
Oh, yeah, they love
Jonathan, again, they can, for Fund My Bun, I've got the links up, but
Yeah.
once
So
again,
what we'll do after the video is we'll go ahead and get this all squared away, and then we're going to start promoting our social media. And then I know you don't have social media, so we'll go ahead and promote it for you. And then hopefully we can get more funding for you. There's a couple other things we're going to do for you. But in closing, I just want to say you guys are amazing. Your both sons amazing, daughter sound amazing. I'm lost for words. I mean, we need more people like you.
yes,
Just not in the rabbit community, but just in the world
everywhere.
in general, because I mean, now it's just so hard to find, like kind people like yourself.
Yeah.
So I really, I want to thank you for being that person.
As
Thank you.
as do
It's
I.
not hard
As-
when you have
it's so hard. Say it again.
it's not hard when you have animals like these.
Yeah. Well,
Yep.
you've got to have loving, caring, dedicated humans there to care for them. And obviously you do. And again, one more time, you're raising amazing children. We need more people like that, like Johnson said. We need more people, loving, compassionate. Not that you have to, and again, you can donate to Fund My Bun. You don't obviously, Louie, you don't have to have a rabbit to donate. Some people can't for whatever reason, they're not home enough. But they can donate. Everybody can help. And if everybody does a little, others don't have to do a lot.
Yes.
Well, that's what we decided we're going to do after we get Moose all taken care of. My son has said that, that's what we're doing. Everybody that comes up on your guys' page, that we're going to be donating to, because you guys have helped us out so much. It's only fair to keep helping everybody else's, because we know what it's like to be in those positions where you're so desperate you want to help your bunny and you sometimes just can't. So it's the last resort type of thing for some people. And that's what you guys came in for us, and really, you truly saved him, because he was able to do his last 2 procedures because I knew I had you guys backing it.
That's beautiful.
So
That's beautiful. Jonathan,
so
that's
thank
got to
you to
make you feel
everybody that's
real.
donated and helped out. We
And thank
really
you,
appreciate
thank you for raising wonderful kids and caring so much for Moose. It's beautiful. It's
Yes.
beautiful.
Hi, Moose.
Thank
I
you.
can't wait
Hi,
for
Moosey.
Moose.
Oh, look at that beautiful
Hi.
bunny. For
Baby.
listeners, this is going to be very, very unprofessional, but I'm going to take one more picture. I'm sorry. I know, like I say, I should be much more professional than this, but I'm not. So I want to
very cute. We understand.
Actually, if you can stay on a minute, I can do this when we go. So Rabbit Savior.
That's it.
Thank you. Holly, thank you for who you are.
Thank you.
Hey, we
And
love
Jonathan, you as
Thank you,
always,
guys.
how amazing you are.
We love you guys. Thank you.
Bye, Moose. Bye,
Bye,
Holly.
Moose. Bye, Moose.
Bye.
Just-
Bye.
Bear with me for, let me see,
Yep.
just 1 second here.